There's something weird going on at the FCC. I know this is shocking news to you because it's always been upstanding in recent years and always been on the side of the consumer. That's a joke if you're listening on audio. So recently there was a proposed idea to make 2 different kinds of complaints that consumers could file at the FCC, which happens frequently considering the current state of dismantling net neutrality, empowering telecoms, clearly being on the side of large telecom lobbyists and industry. So this is a little bit confusing, so I hope I can explain it properly. So under the rules that were proposed and voted on, there's 2 types of complaints. One is an informal complaint. It won't really go anywhere, much like the complaints we've already left on the website vis-a-vis John Oliver.
Yeah.
And there's a formal complaint that would cost $225 to process and resembles a lawsuit in terms of legal process. One part about that is that you would probably need an attorney to do that, and the attorney's fees cannot be awarded in any final settlement on the matter. So this would need some very altruistic lawyers, for the most part, to get through. So those changes were approved in a vote by the commission on Thursday. So at first, the Washington Post and Wired reported that there was so much backlash on this $225 thing to make them do their jobs, as pointed out by Jessica Rosenworcel, who is one of the dissenting chair people for the FCC. They said that it wouldn't happen due to the backlash, but in a big surprise, Pai reportedly ditched that plan and added it into the vote, put the changes up to the vote at the last minute. It was tucked away in a footnote, which is a pretty sneaky maneuver. So there's still some arguing now.
So we don't know yet.
No, the Washington Post is saying, oh, no, they got rid of it. But opponents to their understanding of the wording, which, by the way, seems to really, you would need to have a lawyer read it to understand it, which I don't think should be the case. We should all be able to understand it implicitly. But people over at Motherboard disagree. Gizmodo disagrees with the Washington Post's disassembly of this. I mean, I like those publications a lot. So it seems like it could be the case that you would have to pay $225 in order to have a formal complaint with the FCC.
But we don't know for sure. And I would love to contact the FCC and find out, but I don't have the money. You need different interpretations
of this.
Yeah.
It's kind of confusing right now, and I don't think it should be this confusing. And I don't think there should be ever the idea that we would have to pay for them to do what they're supposed to do. So the way that they have it now was that basically, well, some Democrats wrote a response in a letter to them that would explain their fears that the rule changes would turn the FCC into a messenger that forwards complaints to telecoms, doesn't do anything, the equivalent of shrugging your shoulders at a problem.
Yeah, part of what it's supposed to do is to address the concerns of consumers.
Well, with this, a lot of the complaints that you would give to the FCC would instead be forwarded to the specific telecom. So if they would send it to AT&T,
what
chances
if your complaint
are
is about the FCC?
Well, I mean, if you're complaining about your specific telecom, you've probably already tried complaining to them, and their customer service brushed you off, or was terrible, or tied you up for a long time. So it's just, on all levels, this is confusing, and this is needlessly difficult, and is possibly expensive.
And to my mind, is unprecedented. I can't think of any other example of a service where you have to pay to lodge a complaint.
I mean, maybe since the internet doesn't seem to like Ajit Pai for all the things he says and does, maybe it's his way of making money off of the hatred that already exists for him. He's just being a businessman.
Yeah. Well, and either him personally, or it almost incentivizes the FCC to mess up a lot, because then there will be more complaints. They can make a little bit more money. Yeah, Ajit Pai, I guess Scott Pruitt is clearly the worst person under Trump in terms of the amount of
stuff
things
to steal.
Exactly. Not your complaint money. He should have thought of that.
Yeah.
But Ajit Pai is almost worse because, while he hasn't done the breadth of things that Scott Pruitt has done, he's done one really terrible thing. And then, even when he's seemingly just working in the background, he has to annoy us every single day with his viral videos and
Harlem Shake video. That's like, I'm going to address net neutrality concerns. Instead, I'll do a meme from 4 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really, so if you want to be a cool guy in a Harlem Shake video, first of all, he works at the FCC, so he is to some extent a nerd, which hurts him, but you can still be cool as a nerd. Except he's a nerd who pissed off every nerd.
He likes to pretend he's a harmless nerd. Like, I have a Reese's cup.
No, but every nerd
silly.
hates him now.
But he's not a nerd. He is obviously a crony, obviously, transparently not working in the public interest.
Well,
so he would love you to think that he's a harmless nerd.
I'm not saying a harmless nerd, I'm saying a nerd. Kim, some nerds are really bad, as we talked about in our video about movies that haven't held up well.
Okay, that's a little bit different. So we'll see what the actual interpretation of this amounts to be. There's competing ones right now. It's a mess.
Yeah.
I would complain about it, but like you said, I can't afford it. If you like that clip, I think you're going to love the TYT app. You can get it at tyt.com/app, and there you can watch full episodes of NerdAlert and on-demand clips. And it's not just NerdAlert, it's every show on the TYT Network. You can get it on your phone, to go, wherever you want. And if you enable push notifications, you'll be the first to see what's new and what's live.